This video is in a format which is just for listening alone. There is no visuals at all, so feel free to listen to this video in the background while you do any other task. Thank you. To properly understand the United States Constitution, we must first understand the ideas that founded it and what the Founding Fathers had in mind when drafting it. The framers of the American Constitution were influenced by two main ideas. These were one, that the government should serve the people, and that the people should have input into the government. The second was that all humans are born with natural rights, including the right to protect their lives, liberty, and property. The belief that the government should serve the people was put in place so that the system was able to ensure that as many people as possible had input and most positions were democratically elected. This would ensure that government officials would act in the interests of the people. The tyranny of the British government prior to the Revolutionary War meant that the Founding Fathers mistrusted government authority and centralized power, and they were concerned that if the government had too much power, it would undermine people's freedoms. The aim was to create allowances for cultural, economic, and political differences between regions. They also wanted to ensure that individual rights were protected by law. But you're probably thinking, how exactly did they do this? They did this by separating power between three branches of government. These branches were the legislative branch, also known as Congress, the Supreme Court, also known as the judiciary branch, and finally the executive branch, the president. These worked by having the other branches keep powers checks on other branches. For example, the president was restricted by Congress, who would make laws and allocate funds. That was controlled by the Supreme Court, as they set rules for executive action. Congress was controlled by the president, being able to veto legislation, and the Supreme Court by being able to set rules and restrictions on what Congress could do. The Supreme Court was restricted by the president, since he was the one who appointed justices, and Congress would confirm judicial appointments. The Constitution allowed for large degrees of independence between states, as the federal government was only given at the time power to conduct foreign affairs and regulate commerce and communications between states. It allowed each state to have its own laws and conduct elections and also raise its own taxes. It gave local councils also some independence from state government, such as control over their own police force, school curriculum, courts, and prisons. The Constitution also established regular elections to be held every 2 years. All members of the House of Representatives were elected every 2 years. Senators were elected for 6-year terms, which means 1/3 of Congress was up for re-election every 2 years. The president and the vice president were elected every 4 years. To further protect the rights of the people, it was proposed to add a series of constitutional amendments to protect rights. The Bill of Rights was the first 10 amendments, which were all ratified in December 1791. I'm going to just put them up on screen right now. Feel free to pause and read all of them. A key one, which has caused much controversy, is the Second Amendment, which protected the rights of people to keep and bear arms. Hi guys, that's all for this video. This is my 6th video in my series on American history. I'd really appreciate it if you went back and watched some of my older videos, and I've linked the playlist in the description, so I hope you can go enjoy that. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. Thanks.